Hello and welcome to another anime lore and theory video. I'm Shergog, your host, and today we are going to take a closer look at why Steam suddenly has fewer games to offer and why this is actually quite a big deal. But before we're going to take a closer look at any of this, let me quickly thank my Patreons for supporting this channel, as well as a thanks to all users of the YouTube thanks function for making one-time donations. And with that said, let's get to the topic at hand. Steam, a gaming platform operated and released by Valve, has recently had to remove, and I stress this again, had to remove, a whole handful of legal games and media from its store, due to pressure from major payment providers. Now you might think Steam is a massive company, and no matter what, everybody keeps crawling back to it. It surely can defend itself. But it's nothing in size and power compared to financial giants like, for example, Visa, PayPal or MasterCard. The issue here isn't that Steam has done anything illegal. The problem is that legal and verified content is being removed at the insistence of another company. A company that's neither democratically legitimized or organized nor legally mandated to act as some kind of moral police. And this is not a localized phenomenon, not on Steam and not on the United States, because Japan has long had an issue with this kind of pressure. For instance, online archives containing millions of old manga, titles that haven't been printed for years, even decades, have been taken offline, simply because they were indirectly pressured by payment providers just to do that. And now we are seeing the same thing happening with Steam, who explicitly stated in their own updated terms that games that violate the rules of payment providers are basically banned. And you might now be thinking, okay, who cares if some random 18+ Guna games get delisted from Steam? I'm not into that. I find it disgusting. But that's not my point. And I've seen the Andrew and Lele videos in your feed, but that's another topic for another day. The mechanics at work here are the real problem and the real focal point of this video. Whether it's activist groups with political or religious motivations, or governmental and even foreign organizations, all of them can easily use this type of pressure to get what they want, to basically get type of content off the market that they don't like. And here's the thing, you don't even need to reinvent the wheel. You just need to expand the definition of harmful or obscene 18+ content. Take the recent tragedy at an Austrian school, for example, which reopened the entire killer game debate. Yes, this very neutral name and term is what is used in the German-speaking language room to describe the idea that violent video games cause violent actions in schools, like the pew-pew actions. That I can't describe any closer due to, you guessed it, censorship. And following such a major controversy and tragedy in Germany or Austria, for example, or yet another school incident in the United States, with lethal consequences, that could be enough to finally tip the scales, leading to first-person shooters as a category being effectively banned from sale from all gaming media platforms. You know, Steam, Epic, maybe some hard copies in local stores, the whole 9 yards. And think of Counter-Strike, think of Call of Duty, think of Battlefield or Fortnite. Not because any government banned them, and not because research has proven a link or at least a Zelda between violence and FPS games, but because the handful of payment providers simply refuse to work with any business that sells them, be it online or a classical brick-and-mortar store. Or with businesses that work with businesses that sell them. And the same could happen with manga. I mean, around 20 years ago, for instance, there were a number of crimes that were linked to, fairly or unfairly, to the Death Note manga, which was then used to cast all manga in a very, very bad light. And once again associated at this point, fringe media with violence and all of the cultural and societal ill that were debated on that very period. Naturally, at least I assume that any political actor would love to get their hands on such a tool that allows them to silence undesirable reportings or cultural products without having to go through the parliament, through the media, and without this method being easily overturned by lawsuits or court rulings. And it doesn't even have to be a domestic issue. Right now we are seeing media from Japan being de facto removed from circulation in Japan due to pressure from American actors who wield enormous economic and financial influence. That means even if your own country doesn't have the issues, you can still be affected by them thanks to foreign actors. And as I said, all it takes is to slightly expand the definition of obscene or harmful to start banning games like The Coffin of Andy and Lele, Game of Thrones, or even One Piece from sale, and effectively even from circulation, without any parliamentary vote or judicial review. And even if it eventually goes to court and gets overturned after years and years of debate and rulings and lawsuits and going to the next higher court, by then the companies behind those games and medias will likely already have gone bankrupt. And again, I'm not talking about really obscene games anymore. I'm not talking about not safe for work type of games. I'm talking about ordinary media here that just got expanded into this definition because somebody don't like them. So even if the censorship is later ruled unjust, the damage is already done, and future creators will be discouraged from making such content in the first place. This is called the chilling effect. And even if a few brave founders do want to take the risk, good luck finding investors in such a fearful and dangerous environment. And let me be clear, I'm not saying illegal content should be financially supported. My point is that the enormous market power of payment service providers, companies like Visa, PayPal or MasterCard for example, which aren't even headquartered in Europe in many cases, so just speaking from my perspective, now effectively regulate what media individuals can access, all without any democratic legitimacy, or really any state-provided legitimacy other than the market power and a government that tolerates it. And to generalize the issue and really highlight the core danger here, all of this is about the existence of an extra-legal, extra-political mechanism, a well-established path for censoring and banning content that some people don't like without going through courts or legislators. And this isn't just limited to niche topics like games you play with one single hand. It's a powerful tool, one that could be used to censor the entire media landscape of most countries in the world. So what can be done about this backdoor censorship, to put it a bit cheekily? Well, just as platforms officially aren't allowed to discriminate against content and in return aren't held liable for what third parties post through them if they respond appropriately to flagged content, payment providers should also be shielded from certain liabilities, but only so long as they don't discriminate against lawful content. Unless a court has declared something illegal, payment processors shouldn't be allowed to refuse service based on content they personally deem objectionable. Another approach would be to simply build your own payment system, one headquartered in the country that actually serves it. India, for example, a democracy with around 1.4 billion people, has developed its own payment system that has significantly pushed back against Visa and MasterCard. And from my point of view again, I find it embarrassing that the European Union isn't just dependent on Microsoft, Apple, Google, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, on AMD, Nvidia and many other foreign actors in so many parts of its day-to-day operating and business environment, but that we also lack our own powerful European Union-based payment provider with global reach. As a final and immediate alternative, and no, I'm not a crypto bro, but in this specific context, cryptocurrencies as a backup or bridge payment method are still better than being completely excluded from the market. So that's my take on why Steam no longer offers certain games and why this mechanic behind all of this is highly concerning. And with that said, now it's your turn. What do you think about the issue and this video? Let me know it down in the comment section. And while you're typing, I want to say thank you very much for watching. Thanks to all of my Patreon members for supporting this channel. And as usual, I say my special thanks to Other Daddy Other, ASK, Bad Guy Yee, Bad Burrito 316, Beezer, Ben C, Brandon S, Brandon D, Chrissy, Crowley0221, Sia, Crystal Prime, Dead Slime, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Demon Xenomorph 1987, Devin Downen, Ding Dong, Din Pep, Dragonlord Placidus Saxophone, Duckwagon, Dunkler Krieger, Dystopia, Dystopia II, Enigmatic Unicorn, Feralchivan, Guy with That Head, Hector Marino, Hoss, Huster, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, J. Morris, Chromius, Kyle R, Lee K. Long, Legendarius, Le Louche Britannia with a Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Loverazor, Merowek, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R, Michael Y, Nope, Oh Hell No, Normal Toad, O'Kill, Overlord General Gasper, Paddy Pentum, Personage, Ruru, Primus 11, Rhinomere, Q&A Caracos P, Shergox's Daddy, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Sir Axolotl, Super Tier Magic Batista Bomb, Supreme Cheese, Staris, Ted, Texas Deer, The Orc Warboss, Rocket Smasher, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Vegito27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, Xenokai, and Sonagon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon on my next video.